Hey, this is Jordan Hill, and welcome to the Dirt to Sky Business Podcast. And thank you, Compass Visuals, for sponsoring this episode. And just a reminder, we are accepting a second sponsor for the mugs and the mic flags on each episode. So I am really excited to be here today with Lisa McCubbins. How are you?
Great. I'm so excited to be here.
Awesome. Yeah, I've been waiting a few months for this episode, and you know, a few people are waiting for it because I posted a little teaser on social media, and so how long have you lived in the Salem area?
I've lived in Salem for going on 20 years now.
Okay. So you've been here, you know the community.
I do.
Community knows you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I know the community. I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri. So I'm not Oregonian.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I moved out here about a little over 20 years ago, but I love Oregon. I consider it home now. So,
yeah. We're lucky. We have a really beautiful state.
It's so pretty.
Great
I
community.
love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Awesome. Well, you own a women's boxing gym, Women's Boxing International.
Yes.
Yes.
I named it international because, foreshadowing, because it's going to be international eventually.
Yeah, it's been, it's fun to see what you have already built, and we'll talk about it in a little bit, but that's so exciting that you have those big, big goals that I am. Once people hear a little bit of your story, it's just going to happen. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like you're not stopping.
I'm hoping.
So
I'm not going to stop.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. So women's boxing gym, that's pretty, I mean, I've never met somebody that opened actually I have met a few people locally that go to one. So it's probably yours. I need to ask them because it's just
We're the only ones. So
yes. So then it had to have been. And I think that it just kind of causes you to go, wait, what? What is, wow. And I love that. And so I would just love to hear a little bit about who you are now, but also kind of your path that, that you've gone through thus far to get here.
Yeah. Where do I start? Where to begin? I found boxing through pretty dark times in my life. I was at a place where I didn't have my own job. I was feeling really stuck. And I was in a marriage that wasn't great. So I started looking for things outside of that. But my first step was, okay, I need to just get out of the house and go to the gym. And so I started going to the gym, started working out. But every single day in that time of my life was a struggle. It was, how do you put one foot in front of the other? I was starting to have panic attacks, anxiety. And I really did feel like, well, this is it. This is my life. I'm completely stuck here. And this is just going to be it because I don't have my degree. I don't have the ability to get a good job. I was completely dependent on my husband. And so I just thought, okay, if I can start small and just go to the gym, then that would be good. And I'd maybe be happy for the day. I started doing that. And little by little, I went to another gym and I saw this door crack open and people were boxing back there. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. I wonder what they're doing. And I go peek back there and it's a bunch of dudes and they're all boxing and stuff. And I'm like, well, I'm probably not welcome. And so I just went back out. And then over time, they would come out and say hello. And finally I walked up and I was like, can I come back there and box with you guys? And they're like, oh, yeah, anytime.
Oh, wow.
So that was kind of like the beginning of everything because as soon as I boxed, I was going through anxiety and all of that, depression, panic attacks, which at the time I didn't know what panic attacks were. I thought I was actually having a heart attack. I was like, I would go to the hospital and be like, no, I think I'm dying. And they're like, oh, this is called a panic attack. I'm like, no, I don't have those. Like, I don't have anxiety.
Which it's different than an anxiety attack. It's very scary.
It is very scary. So it was my whole body and nervous system saying you were not in the right place. You were meant for more than this. And I knew, that quiet voice deep down was talking. And it was just like, when I look at the big picture, it was so impossible to get there. But it was like, how do I even start? Like, how do I even start? But that day when I went boxing, It was the first time, and I can't even remember how long, that I didn't think about anything besides boxing. Because if you've ever boxed, and everybody listening to this that's boxed is going to be like, yes. You can't think about anything else. You can't think about stress, laundry, whatever.
Right.
And any other exercise I've done, you still are thinking. Like you're doing yoga and you're kind of thinking, and you're on the treadmill or whatever. And I still love doing all of those things.
Yeah.
But boxing is such a physical sport, and you have to memorize numbers and a pattern. And there's just not a lot you can think about. So I remember the first hour I got done, one, I was like, oh my gosh, that was like the first hour in a long time that I haven't been stressed and I haven't been thinking about everything. And then I was so tired afterwards that I was like, I don't even think I could have a panic attack if I tried to. So I was, it was awesome.
Wow.
I was addicted from the first time. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So did you go back and
just
I went. How long did you train with those guys?
Quite a while. I trained for a while, and but I noticed quickly that there was a few women, but it was mostly male dominant, which I love all of the men in this community. They're awesome. But I wanted more women to start coming, and every time I would invite them, they would get there and they would see all the pro boxers, because most of them were pro boxers, and they'd be like, oh, like I'm not going to look stupid in front of them, or I don't know what I'm doing. And that was kind of like the birth of women's boxing. Yeah. So
when you, as you were training with them, and what other changes were you noticing, like maybe at home or within you, that kind of started the journey, not just on becoming a boxer, but also just like, did that change anything? And you're like, where you were in life?
Absolutely. Yeah. It started to translate to home too. I started feeling stronger physically and mentally. It wasn't overnight, but I will say that very quickly I started feeling stronger. It was a type of therapy for me. Going in and hitting the bag was therapeutic. And mentally and physically, as I would get stronger, I felt like that was translating to my everyday life too. Right. I felt like my panic attacks were starting to go down. I felt like I had better control over my anxiety. And I just felt like I had better control over myself and my mind. Right. For a while there, I completely felt like I lost who I was. And I was in my early 20s. I was young. And I was married really young. And so I just felt like I was in this place of like, who am I and what am I doing? I lost the voice of like intuition. What direction am I going? Right. And so as I would box, I felt like each week progressively, I would get stronger and stronger and feel like at home even, I'm like, okay, like I'm walking with my shoulders back now. I'm feeling more confident. I can go to the store, and there was a point where when I would go to Walmart, it was like a big deal. Like I remember being like, I hope I don't see anybody. I hope no one like comes and talks to me, because I feel like I have a ton of anxiety right now. There was a time I had to abandon my cart at Walmart because I had a full-blown panic attack in Walmart. And I look at the woman I was then and the woman I am today, and it's like night and day different. And I am the same woman. It's just I got lost there for a second.
Right. Yeah. It's odd, but also terrifying how even to a strong, grounded, intelligent person that can happen to us. And so do you feel like you recognized that in the middle of it, or you did and you just didn't think it would ever change or could ever change?
I didn't recognize it at first because without going too far into it, the marriage was mentally abusive. So I think over time, I started to believe the things that were being said. And it was like a slow progression of me being weakened. Yep. And then I didn't realize that it was like, I need to stand by my husband, and I need to do these things, and this is my job. Right. And I'm not saying that that's wrong necessarily, but
maybe in a healthy
relationship. But it was like one day I woke up, but it was after panic attacks, anxiety, all of that. I just knew that I didn't feel right. Like
this is
I wasn't, it just wasn't it. Like, is this what life is supposed to be like? I'm young. I'm in my 20s.
Right.
I don't feel well. I started getting like health issues on top of that because of the anxiety. But it was like one morning I remember looking in the mirror and just being like, this can't be it.
Right.
Like, this can't be it. This is not who I was. In high school, I did cheerleading, I did sports, I did all of these things. And I went and traveled around even when I was young and I was a teenager. I went to Norway. And all of a sudden I'm like looking in the mirror at this woman that's like, can't even go to Walmart.
Right.
I'm like,
yes,
I've been to Norway. I've been to Germany.
Right.
And then I can't go to Walmart. So it was this moment of, something's got to happen here.
Right.
I can't be this woman anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then how much time would you say had passed since you started regaining your power and when you actually decided to start fresh and get out of that situation?
You know, I would love to say it was like 2 weeks.
Right.
But it wasn't.
Yeah.
I would say I was starting to feel stronger right away, but I knew that I had to make a plan to figure out how to exit that situation, and it wasn't going to be fast. I would say it took like 6 months for me to feel like the panic attacks were starting to go away, the anxiety was starting to go away, and I would say it was a full year from start to finish for me refinding myself, getting out of the marriage, and making a plan, and feeling myself again. So I feel like after that year, I was me again. But it was a slow progression throughout. But I would say over the weeks and the months, I was slowly becoming me. So it wasn't like, you know, it was, I saw changes pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And I felt strong enough to start to make those steps at around 6 months-ish. And then it was just the process of, how do I make these steps? How do I do this? What people do I need in my corner to help me do this? And feeling strong enough to step into who I knew I was.
Wow. That's amazing. Yeah. So you had mentioned, you know, you were in a male dominated sport, and well, you still are, but you know, you were wishing and trying to get women to join, and it was scary for them and intimidating for them. So did you immediately decide to take that and start Women's Boxing International, or?
It was a slow process. So at the time, the guy who owned the gym, we talked, and I was like, I think it'd be really cool if I started a boxing class that was just tailored towards women. He was super supportive, and he was like, yeah, definitely. And he, you know, it was partly his idea too. Like, hey, to get women in here, let's do this. Yeah. We started doing that, and I ran it, and it went really well. Like the very first one was already, I think we had 25 the first class. Wow. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I knew that because I just had this gut feeling that women really need this. Because I saw how much it transformed my life, and it was the avenue out of a lot of bad. Right. And so it started there. And then I started realizing, I wonder if I like go to local gyms, Flex Fitness, Physique, different places. They all hosted me, and I would just pay a fee. And then they would give me a room, and I would run like a 4 to 6 week camp.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
So the whole entire program was founded on these camps. So I would every 3 months run these camps at different pop-up locations. And then I started an Instagram, and people would follow and just kind of see when the next camp was going to be. And I always joked and called them camp hoppers, because they would just like follow
so
around.
They would keep joining.
And I noticed like, okay, we're not getting new people every time. We're getting repeated followers plus new people every time. So they're growing and growing and growing. Yeah. And I realized, you know, at first I was like, I don't know if I could have a whole gym on my own with just women's boxing. We only have one demographic versus two, or multiple kids, you know, whatever. Right. And but that was like the first moment of me realizing, like, I think women are into this. Like, I think women want to come and punch stuff. I think they really do. Yes. And if we provide that for them, they're going to be here doing it. They want to learn how to defend themselves. Right. They want to just come in and have fun and be in a community of women. And so it slowly progressed into it. I will say I had the goal of that at the end, but I always felt like we'll see what happens. Like we're just going to keep walking forward and being faithful in what I feel like is on my heart, and then see what this transforms into. And absolutely just transformed into something really, really great.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So, and something that I know about you is that you take action without trying to get everything right. And then before you know it, 5 years has passed by. Yeah. And that's actually a pretty rare quality. But did you feel like, well, I'm just going to take action anyway, as you move towards opening up your own gym?
Yeah. I am, whether it's a fault of mine or not, I am kind of just a jump kind of girl. Yeah. Yeah. I love cliff diving. I love and so I'm like, literally and physically. So I was kind of like, why not? Yeah. Why not? And I've always had this mentality of, well, the worst that can happen is it doesn't work out. And then I can be like, I tried it. I did it. And, it didn't work out. And now I pivot to the next thing. Right. And in the process, I helped multiple women and we had fun and it didn't work out. And now we pivot and figure out what to do next. And so that's always been my mentality of like, if something fails, it's not the end of the world. You tried and maybe we need to redirect. Right.
Like you always learn something. Like even if it's not a failure, it's just closer. You get information, you get feedback about it. Yeah. And you just move on towards what will, succeed.
Yeah. And I think that comes from, my dad ran businesses my whole life and he would buy a business, grow it and sell it. And then he'd buy another business, grow it and sell it. And I was always like his little assistant. Yeah.
He'd always be like, learning and watching. Yeah.
I didn't realize at the time because I hated it. I remember he'd be like, all right, I'm bringing you with me. And I'd be like, oh my gosh. No. But I was noticing everything. He would have me document things as I became a teenager. I would work for him. And my dad had that same just jump kind of thing. And awesome. I guess from the time I was small, I was like, this is just what you do. Just do it.
Right. Yeah. So then when you were, realizing that, wow, women actually want this and need it and should have it, kind of what was the next step after you realized that and you're like, okay, I think I need an actual like ongoing program. What did you do then?
So I joined with a local gym that they had kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, different things like that. And they brought me on and let me run my program, but then it like quickly morphed into what I didn't believe was what was on my heart for the program. So I ended up going to them and just saying, hey, I'm going to take it and run with it. And it was, I had a decision. So the safe road was just to stay there and to just keep doing what I was doing. Right. And just make peace with the fact that it really isn't becoming or being what I envisioned and I have passion for, but it's still serving women and we're still boxing. Or I completely grab it and jump and pray.
Yeah, so exactly.
I did that. Yeah. I was like, I do feel like if God puts something on your heart and it's something that you are passionate about, there's a reason that it's placed there. And I visualize all the women that it can reach and touch and change their lives. And so I grabbed it, jumped, and I joined up with toe-to-toe boxing, which toe-to-toe is awesome. I love them so much. And all of the guys there and girls there have always just welcomed us with open arms and helped us, let us have a little bit of space until I got my spot. And then once I got my spot, I was on the fence again. Like, do I jump and like get my own spot?
That's scary to do.
Yeah. Because I'm like, okay, well, this is where I really figure out if I sink or swim. Right. Because there's no one holding me up anymore. Wow, I'm just gonna go do it. Yeah. And it was, I crunched all the numbers and it was reasonable enough that I was like, okay, I have enough members at this point to float me. Okay. And then let's just jump. Like, I don't know if a financial person would have been like, you made a good decision. But I was like, I'm just going to do it. Yeah. And then it'll happen. Yeah. And I knew exactly what I wanted to look like in there, how I wanted to make women feel when they walked through the doors. Yeah. And I knew that it had to happen. And in my head, I was like, if I build it, they will come.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's what I did. And everything just has fallen into place. And I'm not saying that always happens that way. And I'm sure I'll hit lots of roadblocks as we go. And I've already hit some. But so far, so good. Right. Yeah. And I opened the spot and it doubled immediately. Like as soon as we opened it, it doubled immediately. Wow. And it's just been really, really good.
Oh my gosh. And then when was it that you officially opened your spot?
June of 2024.
Oh,
so it's
wow.
been this past
Good
summer
for
was a
you.
year.
Oh my gosh.
I
That's
know.
so exciting.
I know. So
yeah.
It's definitely, I can't stop smiling about it, because
Mhm.
when you have a vision
Mhm.
that is 10 years deep, and then
Right.
you're finally stepping into it, it's
Yeah,
a
that
pretty
is
awesome feeling.
amazing.
Yeah.
We have listeners that are business owners,
Mhm.
entrepreneurs. Many of them will relate to this, taking that leap of faith and
Mhm.
starting something of their own.
Yeah.
And is there anything that you wish you had done differently as far as running the numbers, planning, getting ready to open, marketing? Like, is there anything that you're like, you look back a year ago and you're like, man, like if I did it again, I would do this? And if not, then that's okay too, because you're,
I mean, maybe marketing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I will always say that the financial piece is going to always, so
Mhm.
I'm good at marketing. I'm good at
Yep.
networking. I'm good at coaching, and all
Mhm.
those things.
Yep.
And then my background's in psychology. So,
Yeah.
and I'm getting my master's right now in sports psychology.
Oh my
So like
gosh,
all of that
congrats.
stuff
Uh-huh.
comes easy to me.
Mhm.
But then when we go over to the financial piece, I
Right.
remember in the very beginning. So I feel like that would be the piece that I really wish I would have hired someone immediately.
Right.
Because I was like, oh yeah, I got this.
Yeah.
And then 6 months and I'm like, help. Like
Yeah.
on the phone,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I need to hire someone.
Yeah, I did that too.
Mhm,
Yeah.
And I did. I hired someone and they
Yeah.
took over that area. And I'm like,
Right.
thank goodness,
Yeah.
because honestly, so I think the
Right.
biggest thing is for anyone listening that wanted to start, like, get someone on board right
Mhm.
away if you can, that
Right.
can kind of paint the picture for you financially
Right.
and kind of guide you in what to buy, what not to buy, where to put your
Mhm.
money,
Yep.
and kind of crunch numbers for you
Yeah.
if you're not a financial person like me.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. That's really good insight.
Yeah.
If anyone that takes the DISC profile and you
Yeah.
have either a D and or I personality type,
Mhm.
you and I do too, and we hire
Yes.
for anyone on the other side
Mhm.
because we're out too busy,
Mhm.
making waves in
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
our
We're
lives.
out here
Pros or
running.
cons,
Yeah.
like somebody needs to
Yeah.
clean up that side. So
Uh-huh.
so that's great
Absolutely.
advice, know when to leverage out so
Mhm.
you can, like, nobody would be well served if you were trying to spend your time doing what you didn't love to
No.
do. Like, you
No,
can
yeah.
go out there and shine and market and do
Mhm.
the things you're good at. And
Yep.
so,
Yep.
so that's good. Know your limits.
Yep,
Yeah, I
for
love
sure.
that.
Yeah.
So what are some things that you've noticed with the women that come in? Because I'm sure
Mhm.
over time they tell you their story and their
Mhm.
whys. And tell me
Yes.
maybe a
Yeah.
story of transformation.
Oh, there's so many. I'll tell you firstly that what I love is
Mhm.
a lot of women come in really scared.
Yeah.
Because it's a combat sport,
Right.
and so it's intimidating,
Mhm.
and it is a profession where it's kind of harder for me to get women to come in. That's why I
Mhm.
started doing events with
Yeah.
alcohol.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I was like, hey,
That's good.
there's
Yeah.
food and alcohol
Yeah.
and boxing.
Yeah.
Like, you should just come.
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? We drink after we box.
Oh,
but-
okay. I'd be
but-
sneaking it first.
Yeah,
No, I'm just
there's
kidding.
been a couple. Yeah. But it's hard to get them through the door sometimes
Mhm.
because it's an intimidating sport.
Yeah.
And a lot
Right.
of people immediately think I'm going to get punched, which you're not going to
Mhm.
get punched unless you want to. And
Right.
there's a sparring and there's a fight team we have.
Got it.
But for the general public that's coming in, they're fitness classes and you're
Mhm.
not going to get punched.
Oh, okay.
And so I would say a lot of women come in really timid,
Mhm.
shy. Not all of them, but
Right.
some.
Yep.
And I always notice the difference in the demeanor of how they walk. Like, I feel like when they first come in, they're just like kind of
Yeah.
like, oh, here I am.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden within a couple weeks, it only takes a couple weeks, and their shoulders are back and they're walking through the door and they're
that's
punching
amazing.
things. And
Uh-huh.
one story that I love is there's a woman who, she was a stay-at-home mom too.
Mm-hmm.
And her daughter had a rare disease and she really wanted to help her with all of that.
Yeah.
But she was a little bit more shy and a stay-at-home mom.
Yep.
And she got the opportunity to get a job in the medical field that was going to help her daughter, and
Right.
it would benefit
Okay.
her.
Uh-huh.
And she was like, I was getting ready to go to the interview, And I kept thinking to myself, I've been boxing and I always hear Lisa's voice in my head say, keep your shoulders back and hold your head up. And she's like, and as I was walking into the interview, I was thinking like, if I can go in and box and I can go in and do all this stuff and I'm strong enough to do these things and I can go in and do that. And she ended up landing the job and got the job. And she works with a lot of stuff for her daughter. So that's just one of many. But I remember hearing that and just thinking, if it can translate from the gym to real life and help women feel empowered in whatever they're doing, then we're doing something right for sure.
Yeah. And I think just even having that confidence with how it can impact self-defense if somebody was to.
Absolutely.
I mean, as if just statistically speaking with attacks, it will be a male attacking. Absolutely, and that can be intimidating and scary. But and the fact that you walked in and started training with men, that does take so much courage and strength. And so the fact that women can practice in that safe or train in that safe environment, but also learning skills so that way they're confident and they're fit and they have like those skills is so important.
Yeah, I agree. I ended up, I didn't mention this in my journey, but I ended up being I cornered for pro boxers for a long time. So while I was there, I was boxing and then I started cornering for pro boxers and holding mitts. I was going to Vegas. I was going to all sorts of places. And, so that was really fun too. Wow. And that's where I got like most of my experience. And, and honestly, like I'm so thankful for those guys who taught me all of that and really let me step into a man's world without judgment and let me corner and let me do all that stuff. And I can't tell you how many times like I'd have a corner tag around my shirt and I would walk in and the bodyguards or the security, there'd be a thing, be like, oh yeah, wives can't be back here. And I'm like, I'm not a wife.
And they'd be like,
oh, and they're like looking down and I walk past and so it is a man's world, but honestly in that man's world, men's world, there's so many good men in there.
Right. That's so wonderful to hear. Yeah. It translates to business too, because a lot of women are maybe intimidated or scared to walk into the room. And that's so true. Like there are amazing, men out there in the business world, in the boxing world. And sometimes there aren't, but if we have the confidence and we know we're strong and we're capable, then that's it. Walk right in. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
That's
100%.
awesome. Yeah. So right now, like, have you hired any staff members or anything like that?
Yes. Awesome. I have 5 coaches that
coach. My gosh.
Yeah. There's 2 that are regular that they have permanent classes. And then the other 3 will sub in when they want to or when they're available.
Right.
I think about the people who are on my team and I'm like, I absolutely would not be able to continue to make this what it is without that community of women. And as it continues to grow, there's these women who are stepping up and growing with it and stepping into these roles of coaching. And it is so cool to watch because a lot of them came to me, like I just told you, in a position where they were worried and scared and didn't know how to box. And now I'm watching them step into coaching roles and coaching other women.
Wow.
So it's really cool. Right. So we have 5 on staff.
And do they all teach women's boxing?
Yep, they teach women's boxing. And then we just started doing self-defense. So it's different than boxing. So we got certified about 8 months ago or so.
Right.
And by a big dude that's like 6'4". It was crazy having him come in and teach us how, like, he's like, hey, get me in a choke or let me get you in a choke. And
that's the perfect person, man.
So it's all ground stuff. So it's like
got it.
How to get out of chokes. It's a little sensitive. It's like rape situations, domestic violence situations. And we do have a lot of women who come in who've been in those situations. So we hold them as a seminar. We're actually having one this Sunday. And we hold them as a seminar where we get mats out and we talk and we make it comfortable. We order food in and we walk through different scenarios of what could happen if you're in the parking lot, what could happen if you're at your house, what could happen, and how to get out of those situations. So
Yeah, that's amazing. So you offer both women's boxing and the self-defense classes.
Yeah, women's boxing, self-defense, and then we do these events, which are really our events are so fun.
How can we find out about your events? Is it on social media?
Yeah, it's on social media and then my website. So the website, womensboxinginternational.com.
Okay.
If you go to events, it'll show you. We have our biggest one is Boxing in the Alley, which we have behind Taproot, and we all just box in the alley, and then afterwards we get drinks and dinner, and it's just just such a good time.
That is amazing. I love that.
Yeah, and then Tofu owns Taproot was saying that this next one we want to do at the brewery, so we might do boxing and brews.
I bet people stop and look like,
oh, you should see them.
Yeah.
You should see them. Well, the funny
cool.
part was the first time we did it, we put boxing on the alley everywhere and flyers all over downtown, and we're setting up, and all of these people are like starting to circle around the alley, and I'm like, that's interesting. And so I go over and I'm like, hey, I'm introducing myself. And they're like, yeah, we're here to watch the fights. I'm like, well, actually, no one's going to be fighting.
Yeah.
You can stay and watch.
That's right. Watch our technique and watch us hit stuff.
Yeah. It's fun. And in the alley, it echoes super loud. So it is really loud.
Wow.
So that's cool. It's fun.
So you do those events. Has anyone competed in an actual boxing match? Is that what you call it?
Yeah. So we have our very first. So we're the only women's boxing gym in the United States that I have found so far. There has been
really?
Yeah. So I've looked and I've found 3 other that could potentially be, but when I look them up, it's not quite what we have.
Right.
So we're actually, unless I haven't found it, and if anyone's listening, if you find it, let me know.
Yeah.
But I think we are the first all women's boxing gym with a female boxing coach that has a USA Boxing certified fight team.
Wow.
Which is pretty cool.
Yes.
And our fight team has their first fights this October 18th and 19th.
Oh my gosh.
I know. So there's 3 fighters fighting.
Wow.
And I'll be cornering them, and I've been coaching them, and they're doing awesome. They are doing so awesome. So it'll be cool to be part of history. Like boxing, women's boxing is up and coming. There's so many more women that are starting to want to box, and it's growing and growing a lot in combat sports, not only boxing, wrestling. Women are starting to realize that they can step into this world and do good as well. So I'm excited for everybody to watch that journey. Yeah. We have other fighters that we have about 8 that will eventually fight, but 3 fighting this October.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's exciting. And this, I have confirmed this will air before that. So
cool.
So that is great.
Yeah, we're probably going to go live. So go on Instagram and watch them fight.
Wow, that's awesome.
That'll be really fun.
Yeah. So what do you have plans to grow, or since you've grown so rapidly actually in just over a year, are you moving slowly, or do you have big goals, big plans?
I have big goals, big plans. Yeah. But I'm also trying to pace myself.
Yes,
because, I've been doing all this reading about business, and you read about like if you grow too fast.
Yeah. What are you reading, by the way?
Well, there's all sorts of different things, but one of the tips I heard was if you are growing too fast, it could all kind of crumble underneath you. So because I said the financial piece is not my strong suit, I want to make sure that I'm pacing myself in doing it in the right timing.
Yep.
I am definitely one of those people who jumps, like I told you. So going to the financial directors that I have that I've hired, they have been like telling me like, well, not now. And I'm like, are you sure? How long?
Yeah.
but I have big goals.
Yeah.
And, the goal is to get a bigger space, have a ring in there. And I also want to add in different other all-female combat sports. So kind of have like a whole facility just for women with combat sports in it.
Yeah.
So
that's
hopefully. And I love yoga too. So I would love to kick in yoga.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it's just such a good compliment.
For when your bodies are all healing.
Yeah. It's such a good compliment for boxing, because boxing, you're tightening all your muscles and you're working hard and you're shortening your muscles. And then yoga is just stretching, lengthening, and relaxing. So
that actually would be really, really great.
Yeah. So hopefully eventually we'll have kind of like an all-inclusive center for women to be able to come and work out and do all sorts of different things. So.
I'm feeling you have some women that come in for the yoga and then leave
as
boxers.
I know. I actually, it's funny. I was thinking about that because I was like, just like our events, most women come and they will say, I just came for the tacos and I ended up falling in love with boxing. And I'm like, that is my trick. That is my trick. There's tacos, there's margaritas. And every time they come, they're like, oh my gosh, I did not think that I would like boxing. And I got here and I ended up liking it.
Wow.
And we actually have women all the way up into their 60s that come in and box. Yeah. And it is so cool to watch. Yeah. We have like a small little group of friends that they're all in their 60s and they come and they box and they go at their own pace and they have fun. And I think the biggest part for me that I love to see is the community that this is building for women. Yeah. And my thing has always been, I don't want women to be against each other because I do think we're in a society where women get pinned against each other to compete. Like who's prettier, who's doing this, and you're trying to one up each other. And I really want to switch that dynamic to like, we can all be great and we can all rise together. Yeah. And that's been like the premise of this whole thing. Like as soon as you walk through the doors, drop everything, and we're not competing against each other. We are all a team in this room. We're all working together. And so that has always been kind of like the foundation. Right. And it's been really neat to watch as it rises because this community of women is really that. Right. There's no cattiness. There's no gossiping. There's no, I mean, that I've heard. Yeah. But, but it's just been everybody working together, growing together. And then that's even stretched outside of our gym and with other local women-owned businesses. We're collaborating and we have some cool plans coming up with different things like that. So I'm excited to just kind of see that growth in Salem, Kaiser, even reaching up to Portland, where more and more all women business owners work together versus compete against each other. So,
yeah. It's such a rare but amazing culture. Yeah. But like how have you built that? Is it something that you remind them of? Is it something you have, on the wall? Like how do you enforce that and just keep it going as members joined?
Yeah. So our slogan is empowered women, empower women. And we have a big sign on the wall. And then on the website, it talks a lot about it. So typically, like, I think that kind of sets the tone as they walk in. Yep. And then I do a really good job of teaching my coaches to really have an atmosphere of accepting everybody who walks through the door, talk to everybody, connect. And I really do feel like that sets the tone. As soon as you walk in, it's not like this weird vibe of like, we're just getting on the bags, we're boxing. It's more, hey, how was your day? How's your kids doing? How was their soccer game? And it's just like a really cool place where women can just leave whatever they have going on. Yep. They don't want to do the laundry that night. They don't want to hang out, whatever. They just want to take an hour to themselves and box and talk with a bunch of other women in a room. And there's no expectations. Yeah. And then go back and do whatever they have to do with their life. So yeah,
exactly. That sounds so therapeutic.
It is really nice.
Yeah. Nice. That's awesome. Yeah. Do you think that you have helped other women navigate what you navigated through, learning how to, if they're in a bad situation, learning how to get the confidence and strength to move out of that?
I hope so. I was actually thinking before I was on here, is this kind of is my first stepping stones towards that, right? So I know I've helped them without saying a lot of words, just to become stronger and more empowered. Right. And I've always wanted to tie in my story. Yeah. But like, it's always been like, how do I do that? Like, I don't want it to be like, everybody walk in here and let me tell you this story about what I've been through, what boxing brought me out of. Right. I'm in the process of writing a book right now, which I'm really excited about. Oh my gosh,
congratulations.
Thank you. It should be published by into next year, I would assume.
Oh my gosh, okay.
And so it kind of goes deeper into my story, the steps I took, the small steps I took to get out of that situation. Yep. Other situations I got myself into, and really deeper into talking about your intuition, how we kind of lose that voice and how it got lost, and getting to know yourself a little bit better and hearing that again. And so I feel like this is kind of the first time I will really be able to tell that story. And I think the women who are already there, some of them already know, but I think that that will be something they haven't heard before.
Right.
You know, they're like, oh, that's Coach Lisa. And she's always talking about empowering.
Right.
But I do feel like I hold myself as a place where I'm strong, I'm driven, I'm this. And a lot of people don't get to see the other side.
How you got there.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, I wasn't always this. And there was definitely times in my life that I was very, very opposite of this.
Right.
And I'm excited for women to hear that, so they know that they can rise like that too. And they can too.
Yeah. Because people that just meet you, you know, oh wow, she's a badass. She's so strong. She's so motivated. It's not. She's lucky she was born this way.
Right.
That's probably something that people assume. And with that book, they'll be able to see all that you have gone through. Yeah. You know, and fought through. Yeah. And like you said, give them hope that, or just like the knowledge that they could too. And that's amazing. That'll change lives. So that's very exciting. Yeah. So kind of the next thing that I think business owners that are listening to this will be curious about is what is your marketing strategy? Like, what do you do for marketing? How do you, it's such a unique, you know, obviously nationwide. It's, you know, so how do you market to women and really cause them to self-analyze if they might be a good fit? Yeah. So I do a lot of social media marketing. I really, really feel like that's like my heaviest marketing area. Yep. So I do a lot of reels. I do a lot of things where I'll pay to advertise, and then I also do flyers. So I'll print off flyers and I'll go to local places downtown and I'll put them in different places. Yeah. But I think that my biggest marketing strategy is the events I hold. Yeah. Because all of the events that I hold, because I was starting to think like, okay, how do I reach outside of my gym? We have so many women who are like, I never knew there was boxing. I never knew there was an all women's boxing gym. Right. Yeah. And so I started thinking like, okay, how do I move from this space and like start reaching all of Salem or even up to Portland? And we've done some events up in Portland, and that's my next goal, is to kind of just keep pushing other cities. I'd love to get down to Corvallis and do some stuff. But that's when I kind of thought, okay, so how do we step out of our gym, let other people see us, and then also market in the process? Right. And so Boxing the Alley, I have posters all over. I have a big table set at the front. I have free, come try us for free cards. I have a banner. I have QR codes. Wow. And so that, I feel like, is a lot of our events are built on marketing. So I kind of tie that into, yes, it's going to be an event and it's going to be fun, but this is also like a really big marketing push for me, because as people are walking through the city, they're seeing firsthand, oh wait, there's a bunch of women, all women boxing in the alley. And then they come up to the table and they talk to our coaches, and they would have never just walked into our doors. Right. And they may have never Googled boxing. Right. Like, I would have never thought that unless I saw it in the back of the gym. Yeah. So you kind of have to go to them first.
Yep. And then I like to go to local gyms and just be like, hey, you want to host like a little pop-up? And all of it is, for me, marketing strategies, because that's how people get eyes on, oh my gosh, there's a bunch of women in here boxing, and they may have never thought about it before. So yeah.
Oh, that's so neat. Yeah. Your social media is great. I had fun looking through it. Thank you. You know, just seeing what you share and you know, everything. It's a little bit about you. It's about the gym. It's about the empowerment of what it offers. It's so much more than just, you know, boxing, a sport. You know, someone that's never done it. It you know, it gets to your very core and like really can positively change your life. So that's the goal. So hearing you say that makes me very happy. I love it. Well, where can people find you and follow you?
So our Instagram, it's women_boxing_. And we do a lot of updates on events and different things there. And in the link tree up top, it gets you to all of the upcoming events in our website.
Awesome.
And then our website is womensboxingintl.com. And that is where you can read about all of our coaches, what we have coming up, the fight team. We do have a little intro on all of myself and all the coaches, so you can kind of get to know us and what we're about and the story behind each of us. So, that's a really great place to start. And then we do a free trial. We do a 1-week free trial.
Okay.
So anybody who wants to check it out, and we used to just do 1 day free trial, but boxing is one of those things that's like, you can't learn it in one day, in one time.
Okay.
And so it can be a little discouraging. You walk away like, oh yeah, no, I'm not coordinated enough to figure all of these things from head to toe. So we started doing 1-week trials.
Yeah.
And I always encourage people to try the 7 days.
Right.
And most everybody ends up loving it.
Yeah.
So on the website, at the very top, you can see the free trial. Check it out.
Awesome.
So,
yeah. Man, I think any women listening that are in this area should try it.
Yeah.
Or share it out. So
absolutely. And even if they don't try coming to the gym, the events, like watch the Instagram when the events roll through, because those are really fun.
Yeah.
And you can bring some friends, and it's like a easier entrance into experiencing boxing.
Yeah.
So
I love that. And then everyone that's listening nationwide, because it's not just Oregon that's listening, follow, because she's just shared a story where you might, relate. And so, people can be inspired by your story and know where you've come from. More to come when you have your book published, but just showing that, like, taking massive action, even when you don't have every little detail ironed out prior, that is very important to pull from. So, well, thanks for being here and sharing your story. Yeah, I'm very inspired so and I think you're awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for joining Dirt to Sky Business Podcast.